And so that, I hated my hair and I hated myself because of it. And that didn't go away. And I did eventually make it out of high school, clearly. But it was, it came at an expense of self-esteem and confidence. It took a long time to get back. And I feel like I'm 36 almost now, so I think I'm getting there. But clearly, I'm able to talk to you guys. So somewhere in my early 20s, I realized this is ridiculous. The amount of energy that goes into trying to control this stuff coming on my head. And then, the money that some women spend trying to make it curly. It was like, I just need to deal with this and accept it and move on and like myself a little better. It takes a lot of energy to hate yourself that much, and there's so many better things you could spend it on. And so I went to the internet, I Googled curly hair, and the first thing that came up was a website called naturallycurly.com. This was in 2002. And I know, wow, it was like the beginning of the century. And at the time, they were a message board with 10,000 people or something like that. And they've grown. Now, they are my biggest customer, actually. But at the time, it was like 10,000 women who sat around on the internet and talked about their curly hair. And it was like the heavens opened. There were these women with this shared experience that I thought that I was the only one that called mushroom head. Apparently, mushroom head is like the most common curly hair mean thing you could say to somebody. Who knew? So it was very validating that there were people who had the same experience and they were trying to do something about it, like I was. And mainly what they talked about are products. So, they'd say you should go buy this shampoo or this gel or whatever. And all these products were not very good, and my hair still was really puffy. It's just the only thing I can say. And I wasn't liking it, and I had spent all this money on hair junk. And so one day I found this recipe for hair gel made out of flax seeds. I thought that would be so cool. I could just make my own, wouldn't have to go buy it. And it didn't really work, but I had become inspired, so I started adding stuff to it that I knew was good for curly hair. And then one day, it was a miracle. It was like I had made this goofy concoction on my stove, I put it in my hair, and it looked like, I was like, if it would have looked like this in high school, maybe I would have ever had a date, ever in high school. And so I was very excited, and I went back to the Naturally Curly message boards and was like, oh my god, you guys, here's the recipe for this crazy stuff I made up. Trying to share the love, like, let me help you. And I got all these emails, and probably like 30, I think, in 24 hours. It was crazy. From people saying, I'm not making hair gel. Can't I just buy it from you? Yeah, I guess so. And so, the way I think of it now is my future customers really forced me into business. I didn't, I wasn't sitting around brainstorming like, what kind of business can I start? How am I going to make $1 million? And I'm not making $1 million. Let's just dispel that whole idea right now. Because it's hard. Running a business is hard, and we'll get to that part. And it's awesome too. So don't take the wrong message away today. So that, I started in my kitchen. I was making, I would make 3 bottles, sell those 3, use that money to make 5 next time. I could buy the ingredients at Whole Foods. It was very adorable, really, when you look back. I printed the labels out on the computer, and the ink, I had to tape them on the bottles. The ink ran off in the shower, and people kept buying it because it was good. And the word of mouth had started to spread online, and so that's sort of how that all came about, and now it'll be 10 years in September, which, like, you guys were like, you guys were like still in kindergarten, I think, which is crazy. And it's like I said a minute ago, it's certainly not been easy at all. It's been really hard, but everything. Not to sound like a downer, but everything's hard. Like, nothing is easy, and it certainly hasn't come without the assistance of other people and the help and the insight. And I just, there's no way I could have done this by myself. And I think that sometimes I get too much credit, really, because it hasn't just been me. I mean, my name is on the bottle. I'm the one speaking here, but it's been, like when they say it takes a village to raise a kid, it takes a village to do just about anything.